In this lesson, I am going to discuss the best practice recommendation for adding the configuration information necessary for delivering an application with the Genero web client. Ultimately, this means adding resources for the directories containing the application configuration files and the application source files. Adding a group entry to provide the group name for the directory holding external application configuration files. And finally, creating an external application configuration file for each application you wish to launch using the Genero web client. To present these concepts, let's start at the beginning, where we know two things. First, we've installed and started the Genero application server, and we are able to view the demos application that comes pre-configured. Second, we can launch our application from the Genero BDL command prompt by navigating to the directory containing our compiled application files. In this example, C BDL tutorial chap04, and entering fgl run ch4prog, the program name, at the prompt. We now are sure of the application source directory and the program executable name, two pieces of information we need for the external configuration file. With this information, we can now add the configuration details to allow the application to be delivered using the GWC. We open the as.xcf file for editing. It is located in the etc directory within the GAS installation directory. We create two resource entries in the as.xcf file. One resource will be pointing to the directory that contains our compiled source files. We'll go ahead and rename this resource as res path my compiled apps. And we'll go ahead and change the directory to point to the C:\BDL tutorial directory. The other resource is going to define the directory that contains our external application configuration files. We'll change the ID to read respath_xcf. And we change the directory to read C:\appxcf. It was within this directory that we are going to be placing our external application configuration files. We can go ahead and add a comment line to show where our self-added resources have started within this file. When we make some changes, we should go ahead and save the changes to our file. Once we define the resources, the next step is to create a group within the as.xcf file. In the application list section, we enter our new group entry. A group entry has two components, the name and the directory containing the external application configuration files. We'll go ahead and add a group. We'll give the group an ID of tutorial. And for the directory path, instead of entering the hard-coded directory path, we will go ahead and enter the name of the resource we created earlier, respath_external_xcf. We close out our group tag, and we save our changes. At this point, you need to restart your Genero application server in order for the changes in the as.xcf file to take effect. The last step is to create the external application configuration file. We are going to create a file named custmain.xcf. We could create this file from scratch, but instead we are going to use one of the sample files provided by the installation as a template. I navigate to the fglasdir/demo/app directory. I open the card.xcf file, and then I save it within this C:\appxcf directory, naming the file ch4prog.xcf. This provides me with a template that I can use to now edit and create my own external application configuration file. The path element needs to point to the directory containing our compiled source files. We've created a resource to identify this directory, and we can use that here. My resource points to the root of the BDL tutorial directory, so I need to go ahead and append this path with the chapter 04 subdirectory. For the module element, we enter the name of the executable, with or without the 42R extension. In this case, I placed ch4prog.42R. At this point, we've provided the information necessary to start our application. We can open the application by going to a browser, and for the URL, including the hostname, port number, the group name tutorial, and the application name ch4prog. I can see now that my application has displayed within the browser environment.